Alrighty, everyone. Hello and welcome to Sinful Gaming. Bit of a different stream tonight because twin cameras were playing up, but keep going how we are. Let's double check that everything is all nice and working. If there's anyone in the chat at all, say hello. Let me know how the sound is going. Sounds like it's all going well to me, so we'll get painting and doing some hobby. If you jump in chat, let us know what you're working on. I'm finishing up the Gobblepalooza. I've finished this dude here. So the, what's he called? Shrewmancer. Just finished up Scaremonger. And now we're going to get working on the Boggle-Eye. So I've got some washes I need to apply to different bits of him. But we're going to put some Storm Vermin fur down on this bat first, and then we'll start applying a pile of non-oil across the model. Hope everyone is doing well, and if you're in the chat, don't forget to say hi. It's been a good week. Age of Sigmar Soulbound's come out. I can finally talk about it, which has been amazing to be able to talk about it after all this time. I've been helping with that game for quite some time now. It's great to be able to put it out there that I've done my little bit for it. Yeah, so we got that. Now we're going to put some black wash down. And some washes, just different bits of him. And then we'll probably go pick out some stuff, doing some detail stuff and stuff like that. So, non-oil. I use a lot of non-oil all over the grots. So, the wood gets a non-oil. It just makes it look like that, a little bit like more, I guess, dank is the word, like to use to describe the wood. And it's sort of what I want. So, give staff a nice wash of non-oil. And all the straps and leather, all the metal as well. All this at the back here as well. Of course, these little tiny baby goblin snotling things. Get all their stuff washed. And his straps here, and lovely. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Chris. That's great, mate, that you enjoyed the video. But it was like a little bit helpful. I mean, the three of us just wanted to be able to give something a little bit more of like insight on where the game was coming from. So if it did that, it did its job. We need some retribute armor, and we need a dried bark. It really is a great game. Like, I really enjoyed playtesting it. What archetype strikes your fancy? Are the ones you've heard of? So on these little mushrooms here, and I'll be doing it on. I've done this for like all my white mushrooms. You just powdered witch flesh as a base coat, and then a really loaded wash. Gives you a really cool mushroom look. And so for this, I'm using Druchii Violet, and which I spilled like half my pot this morning. I'm so mad at myself. So glad GW's back open again though, because That would have been annoying in the middle of that, like 3 or 4 weeks where couldn't do anything, couldn't get anything. But just going through, washing all these little mushrooms as well, and we'll start highlighting them back up later. Right. Well, while we're waiting for washes to dry, let's fill in some little details that we can fix on him. So we'll go get his eyes picked out with a bit of Wasdacker. Pick out his little sigil. So I've used gold very, very minimal on all my grots. I think actually only characters actually even get it. Scraggrot's got his crown, and then these guys have like little symbols on them for the Gobblepaloozas, so I'm doing those in gold. Oh, nice. Yeah, the Skybrig is really cool. Yeah, it's the most versatile out of all the KO classes, which is really cool. Because obviously you can go the very like combat Skywarden route, or you can go the very mechanical like the Engine Rigger. You're more either way. You're much more combat than the other two. I think it's a cool class. I think all the KO are cool classes. I've got a small KO force over there that needs to get painted up for the channel. So, I mean, I'm using this time well because the idea is a lot of these armies like are going to get ready for battle reports on the channel. So we want to be doing a lot more like narrative focused battle reports on the channel. So using all those cool missions that you just don't see get played. Like the cool ones that sit inside your battle tomes and all that sort of stuff. And do like some proper narrative campaigns and stuff for the channel. So you should see some Gloomspite probably versus Cities of Sigmar and Stormcast to begin with, the ones I've got done so far. I painted up 6 Hydras the other week, so we got a cool we can do like a full Hydra list. We've got the Black Dragon, so that'd be pretty cool to put on the table. I need a bit of Screaming Skull. Pick out the teeths. $2K goblins, this is what's left of them. So I've got the Gobblepalooza and the Endless Spells to do, and we're done. Yeah, and I mean, we mean like proper narrative campaigns where we're naming the characters are going to expand over time. That's what we want to do. It'll be me and a couple of my mates that I've been doing it with. So we'll be the ones that sort of focus the channel. We'll have people come in and join, but a lot more narrative. And if we're going to do like competitive stuff, it'll be for the list that we plan to take to events. We're not just going to do competitive battle reports for the sake of competitive battle reports. It'll be, this is the army I'm taking to an event. I want to play it out, and it'll be versus my friend who generally there's 4 of us that sort of do the work. You'll probably meet them all over the next couple of months. But 2 of us are generally like the events guys. So you'll see us playing our tournament list against each other, which is, will be what it'll be. But the vast majority of stuff we want to do is most certainly narrative focused. But what are you guys all working on in the chat? For anyone there? If you're working on something, let us know what you're working on. I think I missed a whole bunch of non-oil spots because he's got like all these little lucky charms. And yeah, obviously we're going to have the live play Soulbound, the Let's Play with Soulbound coming up in a couple of weekends' time. X-ray conversions for old Empire Knights. Ooh, I would love to see them. They sound amazing. You should chuck them up in the Discord or on the Facebook group so we can see what's up. Nice little wash. I'll probably start working on the fumes up top. So I've got Boggle Eye here, I've got the Spiker, and I've got the Brugit left to do from the Gobapalooza. So it would seem that playing up. Sorry about that. It seems the internet's decided to be a little bit of a butthead tonight. It happens. Hope everything is still going good on my end. Yeah, it seems to be working. Lost me there for a second. The unfortunate nature of the internet at the moment is everyone is on it, so it can sometimes lag a little bit. But yeah. So what are you building the Hex Race up for? Are you going like Legions of Nagash or Legion of Grief or Nighthaunt? What are they getting built up for? So let's go for Smog. Yeah, I don't think I've made too bad a progress this week. Get some coffee in me. almost painted 2K grots in a week. Like just going to be just a bit over a week. The Gobblepalooza and Scrag right at the end have just held me up that little bit, especially the Gobblepalooza. There's just so much cool detail on some of them, which is like completely fine, and I don't want to rush them. So doing them at my normal sort of pace. I'm not trying to punch it out too quick and have a inferior paint job than what I know I can do. I'm not necessarily the best painter in the world, but I like I know my standard and I like to hit that standard, if that makes sense. Like, and I can't say I try to push myself too far at any point, but I know I can do probably just above tabletop standard, like above tabletop standard, and that's what I aim to achieve with everything I do. So, and trying out the Dolores Guard, that's the White Dwarf Battalion, yes? Dolores Guard, the White Dwarf Battalion. It's pretty cool. Nice. Interesting to see how that goes, mate. Oh, sleeves are too tight. Pulled up, so just double checking some stuff. Yeah. So we need a little bit more non-oil because I've got to do the little tassel on his head. Hey, Wolf Wars. I'm assuming it's Wolf Wars and it's just some stylization of numbers in it. I'm having a good night, mate. I hope you are as well. Thank you very much. Kids are in bed and I'm free to hobby for an hour or two. So sharing my fun with all you guys. Yeah, I think that's completely fine. Being a slow painter is like completely fine. And if you're enjoying it, don't try to do anything. Like, you can always try don't do other things, but if you're enjoying your painting how you're doing it, then you're painting right. You know, it doesn't have to be any fantastical quality. And I used to see that like a lot, like in the old Games Workshop store I used to go to. You know, you see people who like are so afraid of painting because they can't paint like what they see like some master painter, like, you know, Vince Ventrella or you know, that sort of stuff, like that sort of level, and they're so afraid they can't paint that level, so they don't try. And it's like, you don't have to paint to that level. Heck, if you just slap on some base coat colors, your model is already better than everyone else that has grey plastic and no painted models. And I most certainly fall into that bracket of people who used to think like that. I used to never paint my models. It wasn't until we had like a hobby challenge here where I live in South Australia, and it was called Project Ceramite. It actually like got in White Dwarf and got on the Warhammer webpage and all that sort of stuff. It was actually really cool. But it was paint a Space Marine company in a year, and so that actually got me like motivated to paint all my Space Marines. And so I ended up painting a whole company of Blood Drinkers, which are like Blood Angels, but what is it? They're Blood Angels, but they're actually like really Codex adherent Blood Angels successor, which is cool. And so yeah, I painted a whole company of them, and it was after that that I really started to paint. Then had a Deathwatch army painted up 2K, painted up my old Wood Elves, and a bunch of stuff. And now it just comes so easy painting models now. So now I can just go and go and go. And my top tip for painting, and even if you're a slower painter, have multiple projects on the go at once. It really helps break stuff up. I have done these glimpse fights sort of like a test to myself to push through and get 2K done, and I will. But normally I have like 2 or 3 things on the go at once, and I can jump between the 2 or 3 things. Yeah, it's 106 Space Marines plus transports. So I did rhinos and a razorback. So it's 1 razorback, 8 rhinos, and 106 Space Marines. But yeah, that was the idea of like painting them up in a year, and so there actually was like quite a few people that got it done. There's quite a lot of people who didn't get it done, but there were quite a lot of people who tried and almost made it, which was and so that sort of broke my sort of no paint sort of things, and from then on I really stopped caring about my quality of paint and just cared about having painted minis, and my quality has improved since I've been painting more minis. Especially like the last year, I used to paint like a lot of order stuff, a lot of good guys. So I used to paint like Space Marines and elves and like like I think Dryads was the most ununiform, and Sylvaneth are pretty uniform, especially Dryads and stuff like that. They're not like dirty and gritty or like odd sort of things. And so I bought a couple of Destruction Armies. So I've got the Gloomspite here. I've also got some ogres that I've got in the cabinet as well. That I've got to finish the rest of my Thunder Tusks up. But I've got like armies like that are really different, and they're quite interesting to paint. So now I try to paint different things to help find like different ways to do things. And what's that? Wolf Wars, just converting White Lions to Phoenix Guard Lions from Chariot Kit to Demigryph Knights and Skycade Hero as an anointed White Lion team. Oh, awesome. I am a massive fan of the old White Lions. I've got a painted Corhill up in the cabinet. Corhill was one of my favorite characters from fantasy. Probably my favorite high elf. Yeah, no, he was my favorite high elf character. Toss up between him and Eltharion. But that's awesome. Like I said, if you guys post stuff up, especially in the Discord, like I can see stuff a lot better in the Discord chat because like it's not as cluttered as the Facebook groups. So yeah, that sounds awesome, man. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm probably going to paint some of my Stormcaster up next. I've got a few heroes on the desk here. I just want to get done. I've got like a 2K army there. That's not part of my warrior chamber, but I want to get that done and just get it painted and in the cabinet. So what I'm doing here is I'm like painting lines to represent like wood grain on the stuff. And so you just start off with one color, just draw lines up and down, sort of no uniformity to it in any way. And so what I do for this particular wood color is dried bark base, wash with non-oil, No worries, Chris. Good night, mate. Thanks for popping in where you can. Don't forget to drop a like, please. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Everything helps. Channel's on a bit of a roll at the moment, so we aim to keep it that way. But yeah, so as I was saying, so then I do dried bark, non-oil wash. That's the basis for my wood, and then do grains of Cawthorn brown, and then I'll do Baneblade brown over that. And that'll be my wood, and it will also be my leather. Alright, a bit of agrax on this rock at the bottom here, on these rocks at the bottom here. So for the rocks, just to tie it in with the rest of the model, I'm using Storm Vermin Fur instead of Mechanicus Standard. I've actually used Storm Vermin Fur as like the basis for the black on my cloaks and stuff, so it just helps sort of a bit closer than what the Mech Standard is without adding another colour to the palette, which is cool. We're just going to highlight that back with Storm Vermin Fur. We're not going to go any lighter than that. Contrast paints much? Depends on what for. There are 3 major contrast paints I use, and that is black, white, and yellow. The white I sort of use differently. So the white I use as a glaze over when I finish my whites. White can be annoying to paint at times, without a doubt, and it can leave streaky. I find you can get rid of a lot of these if you have some trouble. By using the Apothecary White as like a glaze over the top. Black, most certainly, and especially on my Gloomspike kits, I've finished it. These are actually done. That black is actually the contrast black. It looks a little bit more colourful, and that's because I've used Storm Vermin Fur underneath instead of like one of the normal ones. So I find you can play around with the colours underneath your contrast really well and change how your contrast looks. The other one I've used is the green. So, sorry, not the green, the yellow. I've used it on a green. So I use that for like the Bad Moon stuff because yellow's just annoying to paint. But I've got a mini here. So this green here is, that's better. That's done with a yellow contrast on the top. So I've painted up my green, so that's Elysian green, washed with, what do we call it, Athonian camo shade, highlighted back up, layered up with Elysian green, highlighted with Ogren camo, and then glazed with the Lamenter's yellow, I think it's called. No, that's the old glaze that it used to be. What's the new one called? Give me a sec, I'll find the paint and say what it is. When I can find a yellow contrasted. Oh, there it is. I've seen it. Eden yellow. So that's what that looks like, and that's another cool one. I find glazing with the contrast is really cool. Yeah, some work better than others. I find like a lot of the greys work really well, especially like the more coloured greys. So things like Slaanesh grey and Morphine grey would be interesting to try out as well. do need to get painting most of my endless spells. I've got a Hangout list that I want to run, but I need to paint up all my endless spells. So we can go back to the Beyblade Brown. And once we're done this, we should be able to get to working at some of those areas we washed. Just better get going on the purple. Yeah, so just going to have to check. I'm going to check up on my paint scheme and double check what I'm actually doing. Recording all your paints is a good idea, so when I forget what I'm doing, I can go back and have a look. So, just layering up these mushrooms now. These are sort of like spore mushrooms, so done the same style of mushroom, the same color throughout the army. So I've got sort of like, I think there's Age of Slanesh. Hello, mate. How are we? And Wolf Paws. Well, I've got 4 to paint for this. I'm using all 4 in my Gloomspite list, plus 2 of the generic ones. I've got the Burning Head and the Palisade in the not generic ones. So I'll be painting some, I promise. And Age of Slanesh, hello, mate. And see you later, Wolf Paws. Thanks for joining us tonight. Hope to see you again soon. Don't forget to leave a like if you haven't already. And how are you doing, Aegis Linesh? Hope you're doing well, mate. If you're just joining us, let me know what you're working on in the chat. Interested to know what everyone's working on, and if anyone has questions about the Age of Sigmar roleplay game, you can always shoot them towards me. Always happy to answer. Oh, awesome! Just finished book 1 of Realmgate Wars. The novels, yeah, is what you're talking about, I believe. Not the giant books that they brought out, the limited edition ones, or the limited print run ones. Hey, Chris Denmark. How are we, mate? Hope you're doing well. Playing around some new paints before back to painting some Stormcast. Awesome. What Stormcast are you working on? We'll probably be getting stuck into some Stormcast once I've got my gits done. I've got these Gobblepalooza to finish off, and then the endless spells that I've got to do, and then I'll probably paint my Squig Goblet and my Colossal Squig that I've got there from Forge World. Just get them done on my shelf because they're cool models. And we'll see. I might go into the Stormcast, or I might just paint. I've got a few little Gloomspite models that are built in a box down there that I might just knock out just to see it done. Because then at that point, I've got no built Gloomspite to paint. I've only got the Loon Curse box I've got to build up. Start looking back, it's like I've got a Loon Curse, I've got a Feast of Bones, and I've got an Aether Wars all sitting on the shelf that are unbuilt. Probably got something, it's what do we? I want to get one of the Sisters of Battle boxes as well. I showed them to the wife, and she was quite fond of the aesthetic. So I ordered the limited edition Sister that they brought out. Oh, awesome. First release knockback. That's exactly what I'm doing. So, don't know if you've seen on the channel, but I've challenged myself to, within a year, have my Warrior Chamber painted up. So, all 270 of those Liberators. So we'll get working on that soon. Just got to finish putting together some pieces for my first 90 to make them like the maximum units with like the right grain hammers and all that in them. We've got 90 dudes to build up and to finish building up and paint, and then 60. So there'll be 90 dudes. Yeah, and as you're saying, Aegis Slanesh, the novels. So Slanesh, because Slanesh was captured by the Elven gods Tyrion, Malarian, Teclis, and Marathi, and he's sort of in the shadow, in between, trapped at the moment. He's not actually out like the other gods. So the first 90 I'm doing are all hammers and shields, mainly because it's built around like many starter sets I acquired. Really cool thing, if you're building Liberators too, you can convert up the swords because you get the arms for both the great swords and the grand hammers in the same kit, so you can convert them up pretty well. The hammers don't go really well into swords, but the swords go really well into hammers. So, and then I've got 40 Judicators to go along with them, so that'll be actually 20 bows and 20 crossbows. And then I've got the start of my hero selection. Great models. Like, a lot of people didn't like the Liberators, but I think there's something unique, like there's just something cool about the Liberators. I think the Sequidors sort of almost lost it a bit. I still like the Sequidor models. Painted up 1,000 points of Stormcast in 12 hours in the end, so it wasn't an 8-hour challenge, but I tried to put a bit too much on my plate. Well, yeah, so what I'm trying to build and paint up for the Stormcast is I'm trying to do the Warrior Chamber Battalion. So that is the giant battalion that it is 3 Thunderhead Brotherhoods, 3 Hammerstrike forces, and a Lords of the Storm. And so I want to do that fully fleshed out. Have the people always go on about like, oh, I've got a company of Space Marines or I've got a chapter of Space Marines. I'm like, well, why can't I have a chamber of Stormcast? So that's the aim of that. And right, you can just be called Double D because is it Dreech one or Dreech one? You just subbed from the Discord. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Right, cracking on with the subs. This week has been good. Chikato. Hey, mate. Dragon with weird spelling. Almost Germanic. Cool. As long as I know how to say it. Made myself look like a fool there, but, you know. Jikato, I love that that little avatar pic you have. I mean, you got a Scourge Privateer. We are automatically friends. Of the highest degree. Anyone who doesn't know, I am a massive Scourge Privateer fan. So that's how my whole channel started. Is a couple of years ago at CanCon, I decided I was going to do a crazy thing and take a full Scourge Privateer army to at the time the largest Age of Sigmar event in the world. So I did. I took a full army of Scourge Privateers back when, before Cities of Sigmar was a thing. I had 2,000 points of Scourge Privateers. There's 100 pirates in my cabinet, all painted up. Lockyer Felhart, I love the character from the old world. It's a shame he was terrible in fantasy, but he is a cool model. In fact, look what I got here. I don't know if you can see that or tell what that is. There we go. Look what I got sitting here waiting to build. That'll actually be my second one, so I'm going to do an updated scheme of my general. And yeah, goblins at the moment, Dragon. Painting up the Gobblepalooza. And then I've just got some endless spells, and I've got 2k goblins done up, which is going to be great. Tiny little dots of red for some eyes for this bat. Okay. Yeah. What is everyone else working on? I know Mr. Denmark is working on some Stormcast. No worries, Chikato. Have a good day, mate. I hope work goes nice and fast for you. Thank you very much. Yeah, they're just generic goblins, just picking a bunch of weird random colors to sort of bounce off the greens. The black and green really lends itself to a lot of colors. I sort of picked 3, you try and put the same mushrooms as the same color, the army wide. That's what I tried to do. So if you see the same type of mushroom, So like these sporing mushrooms here, you've got these under the squigs as well, and they're the same color scheme under like on the squigs. And then you've got like these little white ones here at the back. These little, like, they almost look like enoki mushrooms. And so I've got them the same color throughout the army. And you're painting some Seekers, Aegis Slaanesh. I should have like guessed that you were painting something Slaanesh. It makes sense. And whose name are you talking about, Dragon? Right, so actually finish your keeper. You probably should finish your keeper. Slaanesh is one of the few armies I don't have many models for, actually. Aegis Queen Supremacy. Yes. I was like, my name's not interesting. Oh, Ronnie Anderson. Good day, sir. Lovely to see you again, mate. Long time no see, actually. I'm glad you're here. Always good to see you, mate. Alrighty. Well, while we wait for some of the washers to dry on him. So I've just started corn myself. I picked up a nice bunch of corn secondhand. I picked up like 90 Blood Reapers. But that is completely the wrong name of unit. 90 Bloodletters, a Bloodthirster, some characters, and Blood Reavers. So I'm not the most knowledgeable on corn. I would say there's some decently good things. I'm probably going to go for the Bloodthirster list, I think, in the end. I think that's where I'm going with corn. So yeah, if you're in the chat too, please don't forget to leave a like for the channel. Every little one helps people find the channel. Also, male mutations of Daemonettes. They're quite a bit bigger than Daemonettes. Although, like, it's not impossible to do. I would shave off like a lot of their spikes and sort of make them more lift and stuff like that. And probably you need to do something. Maybe like change the heads, maybe, because they. Yeah. Oh, we're looking forward to. Been busy with the dad life. I know that life way too well. There, Ronnie. I mean, I do use the title of Dad Hammer a lot. So, but you're looking forward to Soulbound. I am glad you are, mate. Looking for. Yeah, like the head's more human, because that's sort of like something about Slaanesh that I think is like important to keep, is that their daemons are the most humanoid looking ones out of any of them. Cornate daemons are the most generic demon looking out of any of them. Nurgle sort of reminds me of like all the like Lord of Flyers, so Beelzebub and But yeah, I think that's Keep working on the spiker here. I've actually got an army of them running. I've painted up like almost 2,000 points. These are the last dudes for 2,000 points. But they'll probably see their way onto Soulbound. So I'm excited for Soulbound because I've been playing with like the other playtesters. We don't live like near each other, me and the other playtesters, and so that's a very different game. But I'm looking forward to like finally playing it with like my local sort of group and my local friends. So any there's a fair bit of strategy. It is a very theater of the mind RPG, so you don't need things like maps and all that sort of stuff. It's very thematic, so it's a lot more themed than strategy. That's not to say it's not without strategy. It's just it's very much a like we want to do this, and so working out how you do this. And yeah, I think I'm missing sitting at a table with like just friends. It's like the more than anything. These hobby hangouts have become very important to my social activity. They help keep me a little bit sane. But yeah, it's really fun to like play a game like that. So it's really like open ended and stuff like that. And so to answer Chris's question, I think just go for it with Soulbound. Like there's read your rules obviously for the first time if you've not played many RPGs. Soulbound is a fantastic one to get in on. I put Soulbound like, and we were saying this in like our review show of like it's almost probably even easier than Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition to get into, which is saying something because I think the biggest thing that D&D 5th edition has going for it is how easy it is. Yeah, and the rules are really easy to understand. I mean, it's one test rule for the entire game. Once you know how to roll dice for one thing in the game, you know how to roll dice for everything. It's nice like that. I'm not a big fan of games where it's like got 50 different ways to roll dice for different things. I mean, you're not scaring any of us here, Dragon, so yeah, we're all a bunch of fucking nerds. And we're only lying if we're saying we're not. Yeah, and I think easier to play is a very good way. Easy to learn, but really deep once you get doing that. And I think Soulbound does that. Like, there's a lot of nuance and like the mechanics to it are very elegant once you actually get playing them. And so it's really easy to start playing, but once you get into it, you start seeing all the little I wouldn't suggest like Chris, like even just get the hard copy. If you purchase the hard copies, you get the PDF for free as well, and the hard copy's not that much more. So just if like you can afford that a little bit more, probably almost suggest just getting the hard copy because you will get a PDF for free in addition, and you'll get the PDF immediately upon purchase. And good morning, Masoran. Lovely to see you, mate. It's still drying. So, yeah, get the skin done on the brugget as well while we're at it. Oh, awesome. Sounds great, Masoran. I always look forward to seeing your stuff, man. It always looks fantastic. Once this gloom sputter out the way, I've got some Stormcaster I'm going to get working on. I've just got to order some bases for the Stormcaster, is the only thing. I use Shattered Dominion bases. I mean, you can always go back and buy it later. You can always go buy the physical copy when it comes to stores. So the Storm Host I'm using, I'll go get a painted miniature for you so I can show you. No, he's just painting up random stuff. That's what Rosarin does. He'll paint up like 5 different armies on the go at once. Lady Alinda is a Nighthaunt. Is the queen from the Nighthaunt Range the Ghosts. Wait, give me a sec. I'll go show you. Get a picture of the Storm Host that I'm painting up. Oops. So that's my Storm Host, my own paint scheme. So yes, you may notice they are pretty much done like Ultramarines. That is purely intentional. Yeah, I think you can sort of see the glowing eye effect I've done on her. It doesn't really show up on this camera very well, but that's the Storm Host I'm painting up. Cheers. Angels of Ecstasy are Cat Space Marine chapters. And thank you very much. I do find like it was something when I was like doing my Stormcast. I'm like, well, like I know people joke and like people get annoyed when they're just Space Marines, but the color scheme, like the aesthetic and the design things of them are very similar for Space Marines and Stormcast. So what looks good on a Space Marine will look good on a Stormcast and vice versa as well. What looks good on a Stormcast will look good on a Space Marine. So the colors on her, the blue from the Ultramarines was like nothing more than like me literally trying to shitstir the internet, painting up Ultramarine Stormcast when Age of Sigmar first came out. And then I actually liked it. So when Cities of Sigmar came out, I have a giant Wanderers army, and so I wanted to put my Wanderers and my Stormcast in the same army. So I put the green from my Wanderers that you saw my channel go before with the blue on my Stormcast, and that's how I got my Free City colors. Age of Guilliman, yeah. But yeah, they look really cool. So now I'm just quite happy with the scheme I ended up choosing because it looks awesome. I've actually got a Space Marine army that I've got to paint up over there. I'm doing Knights of the Raven for my Space Marine fort. All Primaris because I hate Primaris and Old Marines in the same army. I just can't do it. City's Battle Tome is really good. You will never get bored with that army. There's just too many things you can do. And like, a points change here or there, and all of a sudden it opens up all these different options. I really think it's a fantastic book. So now we're just layering this Nagroth Knight washed with Nun oil with some rust grey. It sort of ties it into the mushrooms and make it look like it's the same sort of colour as the mushrooms, and so it's coming from them. You can do two different colours, but it does look really weird. So I definitely think like we're going to see Slaanesh come out somehow. I think he's the next big point in the narrative. Maybe we might see Destruction. Like I've said it in a lot of like the videos that like Destruction just lacks a bit of direction in how it's going. The only like out of all the characters in Destruction, we have one character that has like an end goal. Azir is the realm of heaven, so Azir is where Sigmar actually lives. It's like sort of like the bastion of order. If you're from 40k, it would be Age of Sigmar's Terror. Yeah. I don't play a lot of 40k now, but I used to play a heap, and I'm really into the 40k narrative. So, yeah, I'm actually thinking of grabbing some 30k soon. Like I was saying before, I'm actually looking at picking up some Sister Battle because my wife really liked them. So, I'll probably get some to paint up and have some games against her. But yeah, as I was saying, so the only character in Destruction with any real sort of goal is Godrak, and his whole goal is I want to fight Sigmar. So I think Destruction need more of a narrative before we start making them the focal point. Or if they're going to make them the focal point, they need to really expand on that narrative. That's a cool narrative, wanting to fight a god and prove yourself to Gorka Morka, but it's a pretty boring way of getting there. Like, there's more you can do than that. Like the idea I had of how you have like Skragrott and Godrak as both Gork and Mork. Which I think would be an interesting dynamic to put up. Yeah. So yeah, Godrak's is on Azir, like I think you've got to do something. Well, 30k Raven Guard. If I do 30k, I'm looking at probably Blood Angels. I really like Raven Guard. I just don't enjoy painting black armor plates. So. Plus, just looking forward to when they release Emit the Flesh Terror with a model. What do you want to see, Aegis Lanesh? What do you want to see from I think it's only a matter of time before we get vampires in Age of Sigmar. They probably won't be very much like old vampires because it's Age of Sigmar. It'll be Age of Sigmar's version of a vampire, but it'll be cool. Death is like the one faction that I'm like not overly into. I've got some Bone Reapers I got to paint up because I like the Bone Reaper models. But I've got some zombies mainly because I bought them for like RPG purposes. So. But I don't know. Death just overall doesn't appeal to me much outside of the Bone Reapers. I'd love to see Soul Blight. I mean, there's got to be a chance. We're seeing giants come, so. Yeah, I think you're right. Like whatever the narrative will sort of move with, like whatever they make the next starter set, it'll probably be. So, but that's if like Stormcast don't always a new chamber for Stormcast doesn't always mean a new starter set. Only the Sacrosanct ever did that. Like we've got to remember we had the Extremis and the Vanguard chambers in between Warrior and Sacrosanct. So. Yeah, trying to connect the dots. You're in the Discord, yes, Aegis Lanesh. What's your name on the Discord? I'm pretty sure I know who you are from Discord, but I'm trying to connect the dots for myself. It's always annoying when you see people where like you've got a different name on Discord to what you have on Twitter, to what you have on Facebook, to what you have on YouTube. Oh, you're not on the Discord. Okay, that's fair enough. I have someone who is like literally painting up Seekers of Slanesh as well. So I thought I was smart and connected dots. Oh well. If you would like to be on the Discord, I'll drop a link in there. And for anyone who's not on the Discord, there goes a base. Bam, there's a link for Discord in the chat now for anyone who isn't in the Discord and wants to come join. You can contact me much easier in there and I can see your stuff and keep up to date. You can also ask if there's things you want to see on the channel to get me to do, especially with like the current series of like the whole 10 things I'd like to see about army stuff. You can put your requests in. I should have one of them up after I go off air tonight. be Slaves to Darkness going up next, as requested by someone on one of the Facebook groups. So, question for those in chat. I'm going to do a painting challenge. I've got two options. I've either got a painting challenge for a Hell Pit Abomination or a painting challenge for a start collecting Fire Slayers. What would chat like to see? Would you rather see a Hell Pit or a start collecting Fire Slayers paint challenge? So that'll be similar to what I did earlier in the year, where I did try to do 1,000 points of Stormcast in 8 hours, of which I failed miserably. Ended up taking me like 12, but we'll do something similar for those. All right, someone's got to split here because I've got two people saying Help It and two people saying Fire Slayers. You're not helping. 40k at the moment. I just have Primaris. I'm building up some Eldar and I've got some Sisters of Battle on the way for 40k. One of my friends that will be helping with the channel has a lot more 40k than me, so he'll be bringing a lot more of it. Maybe I'll have to do both over the coming weeks, if that's the way. Hope it might be a good way to start me getting up some painted, getting my Skaven painted up. Just underneath here, I've got 120 clan rats that need paint. Yeah, I try to make them not so ridiculous. So Fire Slayers are very legit. The problem is no one wants to paint 60 Hearthguard Berserkers because they are very samey and very much the same model. But if you're playing 60 Hearthguard Berserkers, you're a top tier list in Age of Sigmar. Fire Slayers are good, like really good. They're just one of those armies that has a very unique aesthetic, and some people like them and a lot of people don't like them that much. They're a bit boring, I guess, to like as an army project. They're a bit boring, but yeah, I know I want to try and make some Fire Slayers interesting. I'm thinking there's like that 5 Magma Droth list for the Fire Slayers that I'd like to probably give a go. We'll do a bit of research on how I managed to get that list to work. So. Deciding on this bat, I'm going to do a tiny need a bit of highlighting with some rust grey just to give him a bit of life and colour. He looks a bit dead. That's better. Doesn't make any sense to me as I know. So the Fire Slayers aren't like old Slayers from Warhammer Fantasy. They're not seeking death or anything like that. They're Slayers in the fact that that's what their god was. They represent their god in his form. So Grimir obviously died fighting the Great Drake Volcatrix in the Age of Myth for Sigmar as a debt to Sigmar. and he's shattered across the realm. And so the Fire Slayers now hunt across the mortal realms, searching for Urgold, which is shards of Grimir. They then imbue it into their flesh and grow powerful, these mighty runes. They are actually bald. They have big beards, but they don't actually have any hair. And sort of, they're very passionate, forgy sort of people. Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I like the lore for the Fire Slayers a lot. But we're probably getting near the end of the stream here, guys. We'll hop off within the next 10 or so. But what I hear is pretty much done. So I think we've made some good progress. We've got another one of Gobapalooza done, and we've got the skin done on the other two. So it's just a couple to go, and then spells, and we are done with at least the 2 categories. Like I said, I might finish the few things I've got left lying around. But thank you very much to everyone for joining tonight. This has been great. It's been a good week. Nice meeting you too, Dragon. Have fun helping your friend doing whatever you have to do. But yeah, been great hanging with everyone. So I'll go for a couple minutes. Probably not even anymore. I think I'm done with him, and got to get to recording the next video I need to do, or finishing up. So we're going to call it here, guys. Don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. You can find the Discord link up above as well. So go join in the Discord if you ever want to chat hobby, ask questions, especially if you want to ask stuff about Age of Sigmar Soulbound. You can always ask away. I'll be doing these Wednesday streams every week for the foreseeable future, especially at this time. If potentially when I go back to work, they might be later in the night. Damn, Earth Minis. Yeah, I'm heading off, mate. Sorry, mate. We'll have to catch you next time. But don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and all that stuff. I'll catch you all again real soon. And if you've ever got questions, pop them in the Discord and tag me. Always happy to help. Chat for now, guys.